Everyone blamed Noah Bennett for the first time. Emma Carter said no. It happened in front of their food cart just after the lunch rush, while the smell of fried chicken still hung in the air and Emma's hands were red from standing over hot oil all morning. Her mother, Denise, stood beside the counter with tears already waiting in her eyes. Her younger brother, Ryan, leaned against the cart like he owned it, tapping his fingers on the metal surface while two customers pretended not to listen. They had come for money, but they did not call it money. They called it an emergency. They called it family. They called it remembering where Emma came from. Denise said Ryan was in trouble again. Ryan said he would pay it back this time. Aunt Paula, who had come only to watch Emma feel small, muttered that good daughters did not ask too many questions when their mothers needed help. Emma looked down at the small cash box. Inside was the money for oil, propane, chicken, bread, and the food fare on Saturday night. That fare was the first real chance she and Noah had ever been given. If they sold well, they might get a fixed stall in the new market, a real sink, a locked door.
Look at the sink.
A place they did not have to push home at midnight. Her fingers touched the lid of the cash box. Then she closed it, very gently. No, she said. The word was so quiet that it almost disappeared beneath the hiss of the fryer. But Denise heard it. Ryan heard it. And Noah, standing behind Emma with a towel in his hands, heard it too. Denise stared at her daughter as if Emma had done something obscene. No? She repeated. Emma swallowed. I can't keep doing this. Ryan laughed once, sharp and cruel. Then he turned his eyes to Noah. So this is what he taught you? He asked. A man with empty pockets, eating from your cart, sleeping in your bed, and now telling you to turn your back on your own blood?
You know what you did,
Emma's
right?
face changed. Not because the insult surprised her, because part of her had been waiting for it. From the day she married Noah, her family had treated him like a mistake she was too stubborn to correct. He had no shiny car, no impressive title, only old shirts, rough hands, and the habit of standing beside Emma through days that left them smelling like grease and smoke. To them, that made him useless. To Emma, it made him home. Noah did not answer Ryan. He only moved one step closer to Emma. Close enough that she knew he was there, but not so close that he took the choice away from her. That made them hate him even more. Before Noah, Emma always answered the phone. Before Noah, she sent money whenever Denise cried. Before Noah, Ryan could show up every few weeks with a new disaster and leave with cash folded into his palm. Emma believed being a good daughter meant never asking where the money went. Then she married the quiet man from nowhere. A man with no family anyone had met. No past, he explained. No title that sounded important. Just strong hands, a calm voice, and the stubborn habit of standing between Emma and anyone who tried to make love feel like debt. So they blamed him. Denise pointed at Noah, her tears drying into anger. You think we don't see what you're doing? She said. Since you came into her life, she changed. She used to care about her family. Emma flinched. Noah saw it. His jaw tightened, but his voice stayed low. She cares, he said. That's why you keep coming back. Ryan pushed off the cart. Big words from a man living off her work. Noah looked at him then. For the first time, Ryan's smirk weakened. Noah did not look rich. He did not look powerful. He looked like a man who had spent the morning lifting coolers and cleaning grease traps. But there was something in his stillness that made people careful when they were smart enough to notice. Ryan was not smart enough. If she wasn't feeding you, he said, louder now, maybe she'd have money for the people who raised her. A customer near the curb lowered his paper plate. Emma's eyes dropped. That was what hurt most. Not that they insulted Noah. Noah could survive strangers. Noah could survive cruelty. He had a silence inside him that felt older than anything Emma knew about him. What hurt was that her family knew exactly where to cut. They knew the word ungrateful still made her feel 8 years old, and that guilt had always won before. Noah stepped forward. You can call me whatever helps you sleep, he said. But you do not come to my wife's cart, in front of her customers, and punish her for finally protecting herself. Denise gave a
She
small
won't hurt
laugh.
you again.
Her cart? She said. Without her, you'd have nothing. Noah did not answer, because none of them saw what happened before sunrise. They did not see him lift the heavy cooler when Emma's wrist ached, leave better shoes by the door after noticing her limp, or sit beside her in the storage room while she cried. They only saw a poor man beside a tired woman, so they decided he was the reason she had nothing left. Denise leaned closer, her voice dropping into something colder. Bring the money before Saturday night, she said, or everyone at that food fair will know what kind of daughter you really are. Emma went still. The threat was not loud. It did not have to be. The food fair was printed on a folded letter taped inside the cart, right beside their handwritten menu. Emma had looked at that letter every morning for 2 weeks. It was more than an event. It was proof that all the early mornings, burned fingers, late payments, and quiet dinners over leftover food might finally become something stable. Denise knew that. That was why she aimed there. Ryan tapped the counter twice and smiled. Saturday, he said. Don't embarrass yourself. Then they walked away, leaving Emma behind the counter with the cash box closed, her hands trembling against the metal edge. For a moment, she could not look at Noah. I'm sorry, she whispered. Noah turned off the burner. Not because the food was burning, because she was. He came around the cart and stood in front of her, blocking the view of the customers who were still watching. Don't apologize for being attacked, he said. Emma's eyes filled. They're my family. I know. I keep thinking, if I help one more time, maybe they'll stop hating me. Noah's face softened in a way few people ever saw. Emma, he said, people who need you guilty don't stop when you give. They stop when you have nothing left. She pressed her lips together, fighting the part of herself that still wanted to open the cash box, still wanted to chase Denise down the sidewalk, still wanted to buy one more week of peace. Noah reached for her hand. He did not pull. He waited until she let him hold it. That was how he loved her. Not by deciding for her, by staying close enough that when she finally chose herself, she did not have to stand alone. Later, after the customers left and the afternoon heat settled over the cart, Emma found Noah wiping the same clean corner of the counter. He did that when he was thinking. She almost smiled, but then she saw the key. It had slipped from inside his coat pocket when he bent down to fix the lower latch. A black key. Heavy, polished, engraved with a small symbol she had never seen before. It did not look like it belonged to their apartment. It did not look like it belonged to the cart. It looked like it opened a door in a life Emma had never been invited into. Noah saw her looking. For 1 second, something guarded crossed his face. Then he picked up the key and put it away. Emma wanted to ask. She did not. Not yet. Saturday was coming, and so was the threat hanging over them. Emma looked at the closed cash box. Then at Noah. Do you think I'm wrong? She asked. Noah shook his head. I think you're learning the difference between love and surrender. Outside, the street moved on. Cars passed. Someone laughed near the bus stop. A child pulled his mother toward the smell of fried food. Life did not stop just because Emma's heart had cracked open. Noah reopened the serving window. Emma wiped her face, took a breath, and stood beside him. By Saturday night, Denise would try to ruin them in front of the whole food fair. She would call Emma ungrateful. Ryan would call Noah an empty man. And everyone would be asked to believe that the quiet husband beside the food cart had taken something from Emma. They would be wrong. Noah Bennett had spent years hiding from his name, but he had never hidden from a fight for the woman he loved. The first time Emma gave Ryan money, it was only $40. He was 19, waiting outside the diner where Emma washed dishes after closing, hair wet from rain, saying he would lose his phone by morning if she did not help. Emma had $83. Half was for rent. She still gave him $40. Ryan hugged her that night. That was the part she remembered, because in her family, affection often arrived after sacrifice. After that, the emergencies grew. Denise needed money for medication, then a utility bill. Ryan needed help with a car repair, then a deposit, then a debt he swore was not his fault. Aunt Paula called once to remind Emma that a daughter who had a little more should not act like a stranger to people with less. Emma never had a little more. She only had a little set aside. There was a difference, but no one in her family wanted to learn it. By the time she married Noah, Emma had become careful with her own needs. She bought cheap shoes, skipped lunch, delayed replacing her cracked phone screen, and said she was fine. Noah noticed before he asked. He saw how she stiffened when her phone rang and apologized before saying no. One night, months before the fight at the cart, Emma came home with an empty wallet and a bag of onions. Noah sat at the small table, adding numbers in the cart notebook. He looked at the onions, then at her face. "You gave them the stall money," he said. Emma stopped near the door. She could have lied, but Noah's voice had no accusation in it. "Ryan said it was serious. It always is. He said he'd pay it back." "Did he say when?" Emma did not answer. His hands were rough from the cart, marked by burns and cuts. Her family called those hands useless because they did not know what expensive hands looked like when they stopped pretending. Noah said, "Did giving it make you feel loved, Emma, or just less guilty?" The question hurt more than blame would have. Emma set the onions on the counter. "You think I'm stupid? No. You think I let them use me. I think they learned which words make you bleed." She turned away quickly, but he had already seen the tears. For years, Emma believed the problem was that she had not given enough. One more transfer, one more forgiven promise, and maybe Denise would stop sounding disappointed. But love in the Carter family had rules. Emma never got to write. If she gave, she was good. If she asked for it back, she was selfish. If she said no, she had changed. That was why Noah became their enemy. Not because he took from Emma, because he was the first person who stood near enough for her to realize she had been giving pieces of herself away and calling it duty. That night, Noah reopened the notebook and turned it toward her. He had written every cost of the cart in neat columns. Propane, oil, bread, chicken, permit fees, repairs. Then, on the last page, were dates Emma recognized. The money for Denise. The money for Ryan. The money that was supposed to come back. Emma stared at the page. "You wrote it down?" "Yes." "Why?" Noah's eyes stayed on hers. "Because one day they're going to say you never helped them. And when that day comes, I don't want you standing there with only shame in your hands." Emma wanted to be angry. Instead, she sat across from him and cried into both palms while Noah stayed on the other side of the table, quiet enough to let her feel the truth, and close enough to remind her she was not alone. That night, Emma did not sleep. Her mother's words kept returning. "What kind of daughter you really are." They sat on her chest heavier than the heat from the fryer ever had. At 12:18 a.m., her phone lit up. "Ryan." She did not answer. A message appeared. "You happy now? Mom cried all night because of you." Another one came before Emma could even breathe. "You let that loser turn you against us." Then another. "Saturday is going to be embarrassing if you keep acting rich." Emma sat up slowly, careful not to wake Noah. But Noah was already awake. "Don't read them alone," he said. She froze with the phone in her hand. "I didn't want to bother you. You're shaking." Emma looked down. Her fingers were tight around the screen. Noah sat up beside her, but he did not reach for the phone. He had learned that taking things from Emma, even to protect her, could feel too much like what her family did. So he waited. After a moment, she handed it to him. He read the messages without changing expression. People misunderstood Noah's calm. It was not weakness. It was control. Ryan called again. This time, Emma answered before she could lose courage. "What do you want?" she asked. Ryan laughed. "Listen to you. A few months married and now you talk like you're better than us." "I'm tired, Ryan." "Mom is tired too, but I guess her pain doesn't matter now that you've got your little cart and your little husband." Noah's hand closed once around the blanket, then released. Emma saw it. He was letting her speak. That made her try. "I've helped you many times," she said. "I can't keep giving money we need for work." "For work?" Ryan said. "You mean for him?" "Come on, Emma." Everyone knows you're the one carrying that cart. He just stands there looking serious so people think he matters. The insult landed differently this time. In the afternoon, Emma had felt shame first. Now she felt anger trying to rise beneath it. She thought of Noah waking before sunrise, burning his hands without complaint, and standing beside her without once making her feel smaller for needing him. He matters to me, Emma said. Ryan went quiet for half a second. Then his voice turned colder. That's the problem. Emma closed her eyes. There it was. Not concern, not love, ownership. Ryan hated Noah because Noah gave Emma somewhere else to belong. You don't get it. Ryan said. Family comes first. No, Emma whispered. Then she said it again, stronger. Family doesn't always come first when family is the one hurting you. Noah looked at her then. Not proud in a loud way. Not surprised. Just steady, as if he had always believed this version of her was there. Ryan heard the change too. You'll regret this, he said. When Mom tells everyone what you've become, don't cry to us. The call ended. Emma kept the phone against her ear long after the line went dead. For years, every argument with her family had ended with her apologizing, transferring money, or promising to do better. Silence after a call usually meant she had failed. But tonight, silence felt different. It hurt, but it did not swallow her. Noah took the phone only when she lowered it herself. He placed it on the nightstand, screen down. I sounded awful, she said. You sounded honest. She'll hate me. Noah's face softened. Maybe, but she already hated the parts of you she couldn't use. Emma's throat tightened. That sentence should have broken her. Instead, it explained too much. She leaned forward until her forehead touched his shoulder. Noah wrapped one arm around her, not like a man saving someone weak, but like a man holding the line while she learned how to stand. Outside, the city slept. Inside, Emma cried quietly, not because she had said no again, but because part of her finally understood why it had taken so long. 2 days before the fair, Denise came back when the cart was almost empty. She chose the hour carefully. There were no long lines, only Emma wiping down the counter while Noah checked the propane valve near the back. Denise arrived with Aunt Paula beside her. Paula looked at the patched wheel, then at Noah. Well, Paula said, loud enough for him to hear, at least one of them knows how to look busy. Emma's hand tightened around the cloth. Denise gave her sister a warning look. Not because she disagreed, but because she preferred to begin softly. Emma, she said, I came because I don't want this family falling apart over money. Emma almost laughed. Somehow, Denise still spoke like Emma was the one holding the blade. I already told Ryan, Emma said. We can't give anything this week. This week, last week, next week. Denise shook her head. There is always a reason now. There are bills for the cart. The cart? Paula repeated. Everything is the cart now. Noah stood, wiping his hands on a rag. He stayed near the back, but Emma felt his attention settle on her. Not pressure. Support. Denise noticed anyway. There, she said. You look at him before you answer your own mother. Emma did not look at Noah. I'm answering you myself. Are you? Denise stepped closer to the counter. Because the daughter I raised would never let her mother beg while her husband hides behind her hard work. The words struck exactly where they were aimed. Emma saw Noah's shoulders still. Paula leaned in. People are talking, honey. They see you out here every day, exhausted, while he plays husband in an apron. Noah walked to the front then. Slowly, not angry enough to give them what they wanted. Not quiet enough to let it pass. You can speak to me directly, he said. Paula blinked. Excuse me? If you came to insult me, don't make Emma carry it. Denise turned on him. You have some nerve. A man who brought nothing into this marriage wants to tell me how to speak to my child? Noah's gaze did not move. Your child is my wife. She was my daughter first. And you used that like a receipt. Emma's breath caught. For a moment, Paula had no answer. Denise recovered by changing the story, the way she always did when truth came too close. Emma was generous before you, she said. Now she counts every dollar. She used to help her family, Now she hides behind permits and expenses and your little notebook. At the word notebook, Emma looked up. Denise saw it and smiled. Yes, Ryan told me. Your husband keeps records on us like we're strangers. What kind of man does that? Noah's voice stayed level. The kind who knows you'll lie about what she gave. Paula scoffed. And what did she give? A few dollars here and there. Don't act like you built this place alone. We did build it alone, Emma said. The sentence came out before fear could stop it. She reached beneath the counter and pulled out a folder Noah kept clipped behind the register. Her hands trembled, but she opened it anyway. Inside were copies of the cart permit, equipment receipts, propane invoices, and the fair acceptance letter. My name is on these, Emma said. Noah's name is on these. Not yours. Not Ryan's. Not Aunt Paula's. Paula's mouth tightened. Denise looked less wounded now. More exposed. Then, a small movement near the alley caught Emma's eye. Lily, her younger cousin, stood half-hidden beside the brick wall, holding a grocery bag against her chest. She had heard enough to understand. Her eyes met Emma's, then dropped quickly. Denise followed Emma's glance. Go home, Denise snapped. Lily flinched, but she did not move right away. That tiny hesitation mattered. Denise turned back to Emma, colder now. Bring your paperwork Saturday. Bring your little husband. Bring your pride. We'll see how proud you are when everyone hears how you treat your own mother. She walked away with Paula at her side. Lily stayed 1 second longer. Then she whispered, almost too softly to hear, I'm sorry, and hurried after them. Emma stood behind the counter with the folder open in her hands. Noah did not touch it. He only said, You spoke. Emma looked down at the papers. Yes, she said. And they hated me more for it. Noah's answer was quiet. They hated losing control. That isn't the same thing. The fair invitation had arrived in a plain white envelope. Emma almost threw it away with the supplier flyers. Noah was the one who noticed the city seal in the corner. He wiped his hands on his apron, opened the envelope with more care than he used on most things, and read the first line twice before handing it to her. Approved vendor. Emma did not move for several seconds. Then she covered her mouth. The local food fair was not fancy, but for small vendors like them, it mattered. The fair coordinator walked through every year looking for carts that could handle crowds, keep clean stations, and serve food people remembered the next morning. A few vendors were offered temporary stalls in the new market after the event. Emma had applied without telling anyone because she was afraid to hope out loud. Now the letter was taped inside the cart beside the handwritten menu, its corners already curling from heat and steam. Emma looked at it whenever her courage thinned. A fixed stall meant running water, storage, a roof when rain came hard, and a life that might finally stop feeling temporary. The morning after Denise threatened them, Emma stood in front of the letter for a long time. Noah watched from the grill. You're staring at it like it might disappear, he said. It might, Emma answered. No, you don't know that. I know what we built. She turned to him. And if they ruin it? Noah lowered the flame under the chicken. Then they ruin a night. Not us. Emma wanted to believe that, but Denise did not need proof, only an audience and a shaking voice. By noon, Emma had checked their inventory 3 times. When she added another box of paper trays, Noah gently took the pen from her hand. We have enough. I just don't want to fail. You're not afraid of failing, he said. You're afraid they'll make success feel wrong. Emma looked away. That was too close to the truth. Her phone buzzed on the counter. She flinched, expecting Ryan. But it was Noah's phone. The screen lit up before he turned it over. M. Bennett office. Emma saw the name. Noah saw her see it. For a second, the cart felt smaller. He declined the call. Supplier? Emma asked. Noah slid the phone into his pocket. Old business. You never talk about old business. I know. The answer was honest enough to hurt and incomplete enough to stay between them. Emma waited, hoping he would add something. He did not. Instead, he reached for the fair letter and pressed the loose corner of tape back against the wall. We focus on Saturday, he said. She nodded, but her eyes dropped to his coat pocket. The black key was there. She knew it now, even when she could not see it. A small weight from another life. Noah had secrets. Emma had known that from the beginning. He did not use silence as a weapon, but he carried a closed door inside him. Now she wondered what kind of past waited behind that black key. At closing, Noah found her smoothing the fair letter again. He stood beside her, shoulder touching hers. "Saturday will come either way," he said. Emma breathed in the smell of oil, soap, and toasted bread. "Then we show up," she said. Noah looked at her, and something like pride moved quietly across his face. "Yes," he said, "we show up." Emma found the second folder by accident. It was not the notebook Noah used for expenses. She already knew about that one. This was different. It was tucked behind the spare gloves in the lower cabinet of the cart, wrapped in a plastic bag to protect it from oil and steam. Emma was looking for the clean aprons when the folder slid out and hit the floor. Receipts spilled across the rubber mat. Not just receipts. Screenshots. Bank transfers. Photos of unpaid bills Denise had sent her, each one followed by another message asking for more. A copy of the hospital bill Denise claimed had never been paid. A voicemail transcript with Ryan's name at the top. Even the text from the night before, the one promising Saturday, would be embarrassing. Emma stood there with the apron half folded in her hands. For a moment, she could not breathe. Noah came around the side of the cart and stopped when he saw the papers on the floor. Neither of them spoke. Then Emma looked up. "How long?" she asked. Noah set the box down carefully. "A while." "That isn't an answer. I started after your mother told you she would make people remember what you owed her." Emma's face tightened. "You saved everything?" "Only the things that could hurt you later." "That sounds like watching me." The words came out sharper than she expected. Noah accepted them without flinching, and somehow that made her angrier. "All this time," she said, lifting one of the printed screenshots, "you knew how much I was giving them." "Yes. And you let me keep doing it." His eyes lowered for the first time. "I hated it," he said. "But if I stopped you before you were ready, I would become one more person telling you what to do." Emma looked away. That was what made the truth unbearable. He was not wrong. If he had forced the door closed, she might have resented him for saving her from a fire she was still calling home. But seeing the proof laid out like this made her feel exposed. Every transfer, every excuse, every surrender she had dressed up as kindness. "I feel stupid," she whispered. Noah moved closer, then stopped himself. "You were not stupid. They lied, and I kept believing them. You kept hoping they would love you better if you made it easier." That broke something smaller and deeper than anger. Emma sat on the cart step, the folder open on her knees. The afternoon light fell across the papers, turning the dates and dollar amounts into a record of years she had tried not to count. Noah stood in front of her with grease on his sleeve and regret in his eyes. "I should have told you sooner," he said. "Yes," Emma answered. The honesty hurt both of them. He nodded. "I'm sorry." She looked at the folder again. "Were you planning to use this at the fair?" "Only if they forced it. And if I asked you not to?" "Then I wouldn't." Emma studied him. That was the difference between Noah and her family. Her family called their demands love. Noah called protection a choice and handed it back to her. A new message lit up on her phone before she could answer. From Denise. "Saturday night. Bring cash. Or bring shame." Emma read it once. Then she took the phone, opened the folder, and placed the new message on top of everything else. Noah watched her, silent. Emma wiped her face with the heel of her hand. "We bring it," she said. His expression changed, just slightly. "Are you sure?" "No," Emma said. "But I'm done standing there with only shame in my hands." She closed the folder. For the first time, it did not feel like a record of weakness. It felt like proof she had survived being used and still had enough of herself left to say no. Denise called the next morning and told Emma to come home. Not visit. Come home. The word landed like an order dressed as love. Emma stood beside the cart, watching Noah load the cooler for the fair. She wanted to say no immediately, but Denise sounded weak, And that was the voice Emma feared most. The tired breath that made her feel like a cruel daughter before she had even spoken. "Just talk to me," Denise said. "Unless your husband won't allow that either." Emma closed her eyes. Noah looked up from the cooler. He did not ask what Denise wanted. He already knew enough. "I'll go with you," he said. The Carter house smelled the same as Emma remembered. Nothing had changed, except Emma no longer felt small enough to fit inside it. Denise sat at the dining table with Ryan and Aunt Paula. A yellow envelope lay in front of them. Lily stood near the kitchen doorway, pretending to rinse a cup. Emma understood immediately. This was a setup. Denise pushed the envelope across the table. "I don't want to fight anymore." Emma did not touch it. "Then don't." Ryan snorted. Paula leaned back in her chair. "Listen to that tone." Denise opened the envelope herself and pulled out a single printed page. "We made something simple," she said. "No lawyers, no drama, just an agreement. You help your mother every month, like a decent daughter should, and we stop having these ugly scenes." Emma stared at the paper. A monthly payment. A date. A line for her signature. For a few seconds, the room seemed to tilt. Noah stepped closer, but he did not speak. Denise noticed anyway. "Of course. He has to approve it first." Emma's voice came quietly. "No." Ryan slapped the table. "There it is again." "No," Emma repeated, and this time she looked at her mother. "I'm not signing a paper that turns love into a bill." Denise's face hardened. "Love?" she said. "You want to talk about love? I carried you. I fed you. I went without so you could have shoes for school. And I'm grateful," Emma said. "Grateful daughters don't count dollars. They do when every emergency has a new price." Paula gasped as if Emma had cursed in church. Ryan stood. "You hear yourself. This is him. This is what he did to you." Noah finally looked at Ryan. "I didn't make her tired," he said. "You did." Ryan stepped forward, looking for the kind of fight he could understand. "You got something to say to me?" "Yes," Noah said. "Sit down before you embarrass yourself in your mother's house." The room went sharp. Ryan stopped. He had insulted Noah many times because Noah looked like a man with nothing behind him. But standing this close, he saw what strangers at the cart had started to see. Noah's calm did not come from fear. It came from restraint. Denise rose from her chair. "Don't you threaten my son." "I didn't," Noah said. "I warned him." Emma placed both hands on the back of the chair. For years, she had waited for permission to leave arguments. No sign came. Only the paper on the table, asking her to sign away her peace 1 month at a time. Emma picked it up. Denise's eyes flashed with victory. Then Emma tore it in half. Not dramatically, not loudly, just once down the middle. "I will help when I choose to help," Emma said. "But I will not be owned." Denise looked at the torn paper as if it were Emma's heart in 2 pieces. "You walk out now," she whispered. "And Saturday night, everyone sees what you really are." Emma nodded, though her hands were shaking. "Then they'll see." She turned toward the door. Noah followed her, but not before Lily brushed past him and pressed a folded note into Emma's palm. Outside, Emma opened it with trembling fingers. It was a list. Dates. Amounts. Reasons Denise had given. What the money had actually been used for. At the bottom, Lily had written one line. "I'm sorry I stayed quiet." Emma folded the note against her chest. Noah stood beside her on the cracked front path. "You walked out," he said. Emma looked back at the house that had taught her guilt before it taught her peace. "No," she said softly. "I finally stopped coming back as someone they could use." The night before the fair, Emma and Noah worked without music. Usually, Emma played old songs while they packed containers, and Noah hummed the wrong part until she smiled. But that night, neither of them reached for the speaker. The apartment smelled of garlic, oil, and toasted spices. The permit folder sat near Emma's elbow, thicker now with Lily's note and Noah's receipts tucked inside. Everything was ready. Emma was not. She stood at the sink, washing the same knife for too long. Noah came up beside her and gently turned off the water. "You're going to rub the handle off," he said. She tried to smile. It failed. I keep hearing her, Emma whispered. Not even what she said today. Older things. Things from when I was little. Noah leaned against the counter. What things? Emma stared at the knife in her hand. That I was too sensitive. That after everything she did for me, I should be easier to love. Noah's face changed with recognition. Emma noticed. Someone said that to you too? He looked down. The question had reached a locked room. For a moment, she thought he would finally open it. Instead, he took the knife from her hand and dried it slowly. People who benefit from your silence always call your pain difficult, he said. It was a good answer. It was also not the whole answer. Emma let it pass because tomorrow was already heavy enough. She sat at the small table and rubbed the pale burn near her thumb. Noah noticed, as always. He took the ointment from the shelf, pulled a chair close, and held out his hand. She gave him hers. He spread the ointment over the old mark with a care that made her throat ache. You ever regret it? She asked. The burn? Meh. His hand stopped. Emma forced herself to continue. My family. The cart. The debt. The shouting. You could have had an easier life than this. Noah looked at her for a long time. Then he said, I did. The words fell between them. Emma's eyes lifted. Noah did not take them back. My life was easier before you, he said. It just wasn't better. She wanted to ask about the black key, the office calls, and the past he kept folded away. But his hand was still holding hers, and for once Emma was afraid the answer might change the only safe place she had left. So she asked a smaller question. Why did you stay? Noah's thumb moved once over the edge of her burn. Because you never asked me what I could give you before deciding I was worth loving. Emma looked away, but not before tears slipped down her face. He reached into his coat pocket then. For one suspended second, she thought he would take out the black key and explain everything. Instead, he closed his hand around it inside the pocket and let it go. Not yet. The choice hurt him. She could see that now. Noah stood and returned to the counter. After tomorrow, he said quietly. There's something I need to show you. Emma wiped her cheek. Should I be scared? No. Should I be angry? He did not answer quickly enough. That frightened her more than a yes would have. At last, he said, maybe. But I hope you'll let me explain before you decide. Emma closed the permit folder and placed both hands on top of it. Tomorrow first, she said. Noah nodded. Tomorrow first. They packed the last box together, hands moving side by side, preparing to stand in front of everyone who wanted to turn Emma's love into shame. And when the kitchen light finally went off, Noah stayed awake in the dark, holding the black key in his palm, knowing that after the fair, hiding would no longer be protection. It would be another kind of lie. By 7:15 Saturday night, Emma almost forgot to be afraid. The food fair glowed under strings of warm lights. Families moved between booths, smoke rose from grills, and for the first time in weeks Emma heard something louder than her mother's voice. Their cart had a good spot near the main walkway. By 7:30, there was a line. Noah worked the grill with quiet focus. Emma took payments, packed orders, and forced her hands not to shake. Twice, the fair coordinator passed by and glanced at their line. The second time, he nodded. Emma felt hope rise so quickly it almost hurt. Noah saw it. We're doing good. Emma looked at him over the steam. Don't say it too loud. He smiled. Then I'll say it quietly. We're doing good. For one clean moment, the night belonged to them. Then the line shifted. Emma heard Denise before she saw her. My daughter is working herself to death while that man stands beside her pretending to be useful. The words cut through the fair noise. Denise stepped into the open space in front of the cart with Ryan, Aunt Paula, and two cousins behind her. She had dressed carefully, like a woman arriving for a serious family tragedy instead of one she had planned. Emma's hand froze above the cash box. Mom, she said, please don't do this. Denise's eyes filled at once. Do what? She asked. Tell people the truth? Ryan leaned toward a customer holding a tray. Hope you paid cash. They're good at taking money and pretending they earned it. A few people turned. Paula added, "I'd be careful eating here. People who lie to family can lie about anything." That was when Emma understood. They were not only calling her ungrateful, they were trying to make the cart look dirty, dishonest, unsafe. Noah lowered the grill flame. He moved beside Emma, but he did not speak for her. Denise pointed at him. "Look at him. Does he look like a provider? My daughter used to help her family before this man came along. Now she has nothing for her own mother because she feeds him first." A murmur passed through the line. Emma felt her face burn. Old shame rose fast, trained by years of hearing that good daughters did not defend themselves in public. Ryan slapped one hand on the counter. "Tell them, Emma. Tell them how much of Mom's money went into this cart." Noah's eyes moved once to the permit folder under the counter. Emma saw it. The folder was there. The receipts were there. Lily's note was there. But Denise had started crying. And for a moment Emma was a child again, standing in a kitchen, being told she had hurt everyone by having feelings. "I raised her," Denise said to the gathering crowd. "I gave her everything. And now she lets a man with no name turn her against her blood." The phrase struck Noah. A man with no name. His face stayed calm, but Emma felt something close inside him. Ryan mistook that silence for weakness. "Say something," he said. "Or do you only act tough when my sister is there to protect you?" Someone lifted a phone. Then the fair coordinator arrived. "What's going on here?" he asked. Denise turned to him instantly. "Sir, I'm sorry. I didn't want a scene. But there are financial issues with this business. Family money. Unpaid." Paula leaned in. "And concerns about cleanliness." The coordinator looked at the growing crowd. The raised phones, the grill, the counter. "I need service paused," he said. "Just until we understand this." Emma's heart dropped. Noah turned the flame off. The line dissolved slowly. Customers stepped away, uncomfortable and hungry. The coordinator placed a small sign on the counter. "Temporarily closed." Denise's mouth softened with victory. At the edge of the crowd, Lily appeared, pale and still, clutching her phone. Noah placed the folder on the counter between himself and Emma. He did not open it. He waited. Emma looked at the closed cart, the fair lights, the people watching, and the mother who had chosen to wound her exactly where she had dared to hope. Her hands were shaking. But this time, she knew why. Not because she was guilty, because she was finally ready to tell the truth. Emma opened the folder with both hands. The first thing she felt was not courage. It was grief. Because no daughter should have to prove she had loved her own mother. Denise saw the folder and laughed. "Look at that. He trained her well. Receipts against her own family." The crowd shifted. That line worked. A few faces tightened, unsure whether they were watching a cruel daughter or a desperate mother. Denise turned to the fair coordinator. "Sir, this is exactly what I mean. She has become cold. She used to help without paperwork. Then she married him." She pointed at Noah. "A man with no job anyone respects. No family. No name. He lives off her cart and teaches her to treat blood like strangers." Ryan stepped beside her. "Ask her where the startup money came from." For one moment, Denise had the crowd. Her tears, her age, and the word mother gave her power Emma had spent years obeying. Noah did not move until Emma looked at him. Then he opened the first page. "This is the cart permit," he said. "Issued to Emma Carter Bennett and Noah Bennett. Paid from our account." He placed it on the counter. "This is the equipment invoice. Used grill, repaired twice. Paid in installments. Our account." Another page. "Propane. Oil, bread, chicken. Market application fee. Fair vendor fee." He did not raise his voice. He simply put each paper down until the counter became a history Denise could not rewrite. Ryan scoffed. "Paper doesn't prove she didn't take from us." "No," Noah said. "These prove you didn't build this cart." Then Emma placed the bank transfers beside them. Her hand shook only once. "These show what I sent," she said. The crowd grew quieter. Emma pointed to the dates. Medication. Electric bill. Ryan's car repair. Ryan's phone. Ryan's debt. Another debt. A hospital bill mom said was unpaid. Denise stepped forward. How dare you expose family business in public? Emma looked at her mother. You brought it here. That stopped Denise for half a breath. Noah placed one more sheet down. This is the same hospital bill. Paid 3 months before she asked Emma to pay it again. A woman in the crowd murmured, "Oh my God." Ryan's smile vanished. That's private. So was my wife's shame, Noah said. The fair coordinator picked up the permit, then the receipts. His expression changed. Denise saw the shift and cried harder. She is my daughter, she said. I needed help. Is that a crime now? Emma's throat tightened. There it was again. The trapdoor. If she said yes, she was cruel. If she said no, Denise would keep taking. Before Emma could answer, a voice came from the edge of the crowd. It wasn't help anymore. Everyone turned. Lily stood there, pale. One hand around her phone. Denise's face went white with fury. Lily. Go home. Lily did not move. Her voice trembled, but it carried. Aunt Denise knew Emma was saving for the fair. She said if Emma wouldn't pay, she would make her look selfish in front of everyone. Ryan reached for Lily's arm. Shut up. Noah stepped once. Ryan stopped. Lily lifted her phone. I recorded her yesterday. I didn't know if I'd be brave enough to use it. Denise whispered. You little traitor. Lily's eyes filled. No. I'm tired of watching you call it family when you mean money. She played the recording. Denise's voice came through thin and unmistakable. If she won't give it willingly, we'll make her ashamed enough to pay. This time, Denise had no tears ready fast enough. Emma looked at her mother, and something inside her finally let go. The belief that love meant surrender. You were right about one thing, Emma said. I did change. Denise's mouth tightened. I changed because I got tired. I changed because every time I gave, you asked for more. I changed because my husband stood beside me long enough for me to understand that being a daughter does not mean being emptied. Ryan muttered, he turned you against us. Emma looked at Noah. Then back at Ryan. No, he never took anything from me. He stood beside me while everyone else came here asking for more. The words landed harder than shouting could have. The fair coordinator removed the temporary closed sign. You can reopen, he said quietly. And if they interfere again, security will remove them. Denise stared at Emma as if waiting for the old apology. It did not come. Emma gathered the papers and closed the folder. Do not come to my cart for money again, she said. Do not come to my home to threaten me. If I choose to help, it will be my choice. If I say no, it will still be my choice. Denise looked smaller then. Not harmless. Just exposed. Ryan tried to speak, but the crowd had already turned against him. Noah restarted the grill. The flame caught. A small sound. A simple sound. But to Emma, it felt like the night breathing again. A customer stepped forward, holding up a ticket. Are you still serving? She asked gently. Emma looked at Noah. He gave her the smallest nod. She wiped her face, opened the serving window, and answered with a voice that shook but did not break. Yes, she said. We are. They sold out before the fair closed. Emma should have felt only joy. Customers came back after the scene, and Mr. Ellis told them he would call Monday about a trial stall. Lily hugged Emma behind the cart and cried into her shoulder. Denise and Ryan were gone. For the first time in years, their absence felt like air. But when Noah loaded the last empty tray into the cart, Emma saw the black key in his hand. He did not hide it this time. You said after tomorrow, she reminded him. Noah looked at the key, then at her. Tomorrow came. They closed the cart in silence. Instead of driving back to the apartment, Noah took a road Emma did not know. The city thinned behind them until dark houses became trees. She did not ask where they were going. Some questions needed the person with the secret to be brave first. At the end of a long private road, iron gates rose out of the darkness. Noah stopped the truck. For several seconds, he did not move. Then he stepped out, walked to the gate, and used the black key. The lock opened with a heavy click. Emma's breath caught. Beyond the gate stood a large old house beneath tall trees, its stone steps washed silver by the moon. It was not flashy. It was real, old, and far enough from their rented apartment that Emma felt the distance inside her chest. Noah parked near the front steps and turned off the engine. "My name is Noah Bennett," he said quietly. "But before I left, people knew me as Noah Bennett of Bennett Hospitality Group." Emma stared at him. She had seen that name before, on restaurant buildings downtown and delivery trucks. "You own that?" she whispered. "My family did. Then I did, for a while." He looked toward the house. "After my father died, everyone wanted something. Partners. Relatives. People who suddenly thought I was easier to love when they knew what came with my name." Emma flinched, though he had not accused her. "I left before I became someone I hated," he said. "I kept enough distance to stay legally tied to it, but I stopped living as that man. And you married me without telling me." "Yes." The words stood between them without defense. Emma got out of the truck because sitting still hurt too much. Noah followed, but he kept space between them. "You let me think we were struggling the same way," she said. "We were struggling," he answered. "Just not for the same reasons." That almost made her angrier. He accepted that too. "I should have told you sooner," he said. "I was afraid." "Of what? That I'd want your money?" "No. That the first peaceful life I ever had would disappear the moment my name came back." Emma looked at his hands, then the same hands that cleaned grease traps, carried coolers, wrapped her burned wrist, and held her steady when her own family tried to empty her. "You could have left the cart any time," she said. "Yes. But you stayed." "Yes." "Why?" Noah's eyes shone in the moonlight. "Because with you, I was not a name. I was not a company. I was not a chair at the head of a table. I was the man beside you at 4 in the morning, and you loved him before he had anything to explain." Emma wiped her cheek, angry that she was crying and unable to stop. "I'm hurt," she said. "I know. I need time. I know. But I don't think the man at the cart was fake." Noah closed his eyes. When he opened them, the strength people mistook for coldness had fallen away. "He was the truest I've ever been," he said. Emma looked back at the old house, then at the truck that still smelled like fried chicken. After a long moment, she held out her hand. Noah waited until the choice was hers. Then she let him hold it. On Monday, Mr. Ellis called before noon. Emma answered with Noah standing beside her at the cart. She listened, said thank you twice, and covered the phone with one hand. "1-month trial stall," she whispered. Noah's smile came slowly, like he was afraid to take too much of the moment before she did. Emma laughed first. Then she cried. Not the broken kind her family had trained into her. This was relief, exhaustion, and the strange ache of realizing something good had arrived without needing to be begged for. Noah did not give a speech. He simply wrapped his arms around her, and for a while they stood behind the cart while the fryer warmed and the city moved around them. Denise called 3 times that week. Emma did not answer. Ryan sent a long message accusing her of forgetting where she came from. Emma read the first line, deleted the rest, and blocked the number before guilt could finish dressing itself as love. Lily came by on Thursday with grocery store flowers and an apology she could barely say. Emma hugged her anyway. Not every bond had to be cut. Only the ones that kept tightening around her throat. The market stall was small, but it had running water, a steel counter, and a door they could lock at night. Emma painted the menu board herself. Noah fixed the shelves. When Bennett Hospitality called, he no longer turned the screen away. He told her more slowly, piece by piece. She listened the same way. There were still hard conversations. Trust did not repair itself in one beautiful scene under moonlight. But every morning, he showed up. And every morning, she chose to believe the man who showed up more than the secret he had hidden. Months later, when the stall became a small restaurant on the corner of the market, people said it was because the food was good. That was true, but Emma knew it was also because the place felt honest. Nothing about it begged to look expensive. The tables were simple. The kitchen was open. The walls smelled of toasted bread, basil, and work. Outside the front window, Noah kept the old food cart. The same patched wheel, the same scratched counter, the same serving window Denise had once pointed at like it was proof Emma had ruined her life. A customer asked about it on opening week. "Why keep the old cart out there?" she said. "You have a real place now." Noah looked at Emma. He could have answered, "He let her." Emma wiped her hands on her apron and looked through the window at the cart that had carried their worst days and their truest ones. "Because that was the first place we had almost nothing," she said, "and still chose each other."